Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner here. This is Sriparna. I hope all of you are doing well. So here we are going to discuss another important topic of this chapter, that is causes of unemployment. Okay, so we have already told in my last session consequences of unemployment, different types of unemployment, but today's topic is only the causes of unemployment. Okay. So if you have missed my previous session, so please go and check it once. I think this session will be really helpful session to everyone, and my previous sessions links are available in my description box and my first comment. So please go and check it once. So learner, let's start the session and move on to the main slide. We know the Indian economy suffers from widespread unemployment, and the magnitude of unemployment has been increasing over the years. And why is it so? And what are the factors basically responsible for unemployment in the country? So, the major causes of unemployment can be discussed here. But in my last session, we have told the causes of unemployment, but here we are going to explain the every causes of unemployment. So now move on to the first point, and that is low rate of economic growth. So the rate of economic growth in the economy has been rather low. The rate of economic growth determines the rate at which new jobs are created. The job opportunities created under the 5-year plan have fallen short of the job requirements of the growing labor force. Unfortunately, the non agricultural sector, particularly the modern industrial sector, is growing at a very slow pace. That's why it has led to not only open unemployment, but it has put more pressure on land, resulting in disguised unemployment in agriculture. And you have do you know what do you mean by a disguised unemployment? So if you have any doubt on it, so please go and check my previous sessions. My previous sessions links are available in my first comment and my description box, so please go and check it once. Okay, so the employment generation capacity of the economic growth has been limited due to the use of capital intensive techniques in the non-agricultural sector. I think that point is clear. So low one of the most important causes of unemployment, that is low rate of economic growth, because low rate of economic growth indicates decreasing the number of job creation. Okay, so now move on to the next point, that is low growth rate of agriculture. An important cause of unemployment in the agricultural sector is that the growth rate of the agricultural sector has been low and dirty. So, a low rate of growth of the agricultural sector implies the growth rate of employment in the agricultural sector has been low. Obviously, low growth rate of agriculture means low growth rate of employment in the agricultural sector, and productivity in agricultural sector continues to be very low because of various technological and institutional factors such as small scattered units of cultivations, inadequate capital, outdated technologies, etc. As a consequence, agriculture has provided low productivity employment avenues. Lack of multiple cropping and excessive pressure of the population on land have added to the problem of the seasonal and disguised unemployment in the agricultural sector. So that's why it is one of the most important cause of unemployment, that is low growth rate of agriculture. Now going to the third point, that is low capital formation. Another factor uh, responsible for unemployment obviously in the country is low capital formation, and it has hindered the growth potentialities in the agricultural and the industrial sectors both. Growth of the agricultural and industrial sectors has been hampered by non availability of machines, power, transport, and essential raw materials, most importantly. Consequently, job creation capabilities of the agricultural and industrial sectors have been affected adversely. So, it determines low rate of capital formation. So low capital formation is one of the most important cause of unemployment also. Okay, so now going to the fourth point, that is rapid population growth. And it is one most important cause of unemployment, obviously. And rapid growth of population has also added to the problem of unemployment in the country also. And this is for two reasons. One, the first reason, rapid expansion of population has directly added to the problem of unemployment by making large addition to the labor force. In other words, it has increased the supply of labor force. And secondly, rapid population growth has reduced the resources for capital formation. More people means more expenditure on consumer goods and provision of facilities such as water, electricity, medical, education, etc. And this has reduced savings and investment, and thereby it has retarded the growth of job opportunities also. So rapid population growth has also added to the problem of unemployment in the country. Now move on to the next point, that is use of capital intensive techniques. We have already told capital intensive technique. We were using capital intensive techniques in the modern industrial sector, and that basically implies the situation of unemployment, and that is one of the most important cause of unemployment also. So use of capital intensive techniques is one of the most important point. So various macro policies of the government have encouraged the adoption of the capital intensive techniques despite the availability of the surplus labor in the country. Low interest rates, low tariff duties on imports of capital goods, various concessions given for investment, dependence on imported technology, etc., have made capital intensive techniques relatively more attractive. So that's why it generates less employment, and we have told already that part. So the labor remains unused, creating the problem of unemployment. I think this is clear to everyone. Now going to the next point, that is defective education system. And I have no words about this point. Okay, so our education system is also responsible for the problem of unemployment. The education system is still based on traditional liberal lines. It is not related to the growing development needs of the country. It lays more emphasis on the general education rather than the vocational and technical education, because vocational and technical education basically creates more job in the country. But in our country, more emphasis on the general education rather than the vocational and the technical education. So that's why defective education system is one of the most important cause of unemployment. Okay, so it produces, we have already told, it produces more of generalists such as clerks, lower level executives, and government servants rather than the technocrats. So it is this factor which is responsible for growing educated unemployment. So now going to the next point, but move on to the next slide also. So the next point, that is inadequate employment planning. Okay, so inadequate employment planning has been responsible for continued unemployment problem. Low priority has been given to employment objective in the plans, in the 5-year plans basically. Till recently, the employment objective was not quantified as a time bound program. In fact, planning in India has not been employment oriented. The wage rate policy and the appropriate policy with regard to techniques, etc., have not been seriously used to solve the problem of unemployment, and that's why the inadequate employment planning of the 5-year plans is responsible to the situation, to this situation. Okay, so that's why it is one of the most important cause of unemployment also. Next point is weak manpower planning. The last point, that was inadequate employment planning, and Now the cause is basically weak manpower planning. Weak manpower planning has also led to the problem of unemployment, because manpower planning refers to the proper balancing between manpower needs and availabilities in the various fields such as doctors, engineers, administrators, business executives, etc. And there have been significant imbalances in the different spheres of educated and trained personnel, but not much has been done to overcome these imbalances. So that's why weak manpower planning is one of the most important reason of unemployment. Now going to the next point, failure to develop employment generating projects. The plans have not really been successful in developing projects which have large employment potential. For example, we can say the plans have not done well in developing flood control, drainage, anti waterlogging, rural electrification, and other employment generating activities. Similarly, the plans have not placed due emphasis on the development of schemes of irrigation, soil conservation, development of dairies, fisheries, etc. So that's why it is responsible for this situation. And now going to the 10th point, that is decline of cottage and small scale industry. So, number of traditional village and cottage industries have declined over the years due to the change in demand preferences, emergence of more efficient modern industries. Therefore, a large number of people have left their traditional jobs. This has been an important reason for rural unemployment in India, in the developing country like India. So, decline of cottage and small scale industries is one of the most important cause of unemployment. And now going to the next. So learner, our next point, that is migration of rural population. Okay, so we have already told a large number of people have left their traditional jobs, and that's why rural unemployment, the number of rural unemployment is increasing in the developing country like India. And that migrated people basically and there has been large scale migrated people from rural areas to urban areas due to inadequate employment opportunities in rural areas and higher wages in urban areas also, but jobs are not available for all of them in the urban areas. So this has increased urban unemployment in India. And now going to the last point, that is labor law. The government has been protecting the existing workers and their exploitation with the help of Minimum Wages Act, Workers' Compensation Act, and other laws. High wages have kept the demand for labor at a low level. So, labor law is not basically, the labor law is not in a correct. Okay. So now move on to the next point, that is migration of rural population. And we have already told in our last cause, that is a large number of people have left their traditional jobs, and that's why increasing the number of rural unemployment is increasing. And here we can see our next point, that is migration of rural population. So there has been large scale of migration of people, that means migrated people from rural areas to urban areas due to inadequate employment opportunities in rural areas and higher wages in urban areas, but jobs are not available in urban areas. So it has increased the urban unemployment in India. So that is one of the most important cause. And now going to the last point, that is labor law. The government has been protecting the existing workers and their exploitation with the help of the Minimum Wages Act, Workers' Compensation Act, and other laws. And high wages have kept the demand for labor at a low level. So obviously, labor law is one of the most important cause of unemployment also. So we have already told, we have already described basically the different causes of unemployment. So the first point, that is low rate of economic growth. Second point is low growth rate of agriculture. Third point, it is low capital formation. Fourth point is rapid population growth. The fifth point, use of capital intensive techniques. Sixth point, defective education system. Seventh point, inadequate employment planning, weak manpower planning, failure to develop employment generating projects, decline of cottage and small scale industries, migration of rural population, and labor laws. Okay, so I think all causes of unemployment is clear to everyone. If you have any doubt on it, so please do one comment in my comment section. I will reply you positively. So learner, we are done for the today's session. I hope this session will be very useful to everyone. If you like my session, do not forget to like, share and comment, and please do some support and subscribe my channel for getting more useful session from me. Okay, so I will come again with a new session. Till then, stay tuned, stay connected with me. Thank you. Happy learning.